Hey y'all, welcome back to another Thoughts of an Introvert video. My name is Brittany. As you can see a little bit from the walls that I'm in a different space. And I'm definitely in a different space, you know, mentally and all that good stuff. Like I got a nice little view, whatever. I'm just really excited. New space, new job, new everything. We on that new. We not on the same thing, you know. So, and if y'all anytime hear my stomach growler, it's just digestion. I don't know what's going on. When you get closer to your 30s, your stomach start rumbling for no reason. You lactose intolerant for no reason. Like, honestly, for the longest, I couldn't give up meat. But I've given up dairy, kind of not by choice, but you know, how my body functions. And that's more easier. So I think slowly, like, this quest that I'm trying to do. But honestly, giving up dairy is like, it's the thing. Like your skin clears up, you're not inflamed, like you don't cramp as bad. So I've been giving up dairy and I've been doing good. And we have a lot of dairy substitutes. I feel like with meat substitutes, it is giving kibbles and bits. Like it's not really, you know, something that's sustainable. So when people be like, oh, these are vegan ribs, I'm like, no, they're not. Like, just don't do it. Like, just have like some veggies and some potatoes or something like that. But I feel like when the meat thing is like, these is not chicken wings. Stop. Like, can we talk about Irv Gotti for a minute? Irv Gotti is one of those people that I totally dislike him for the treatment of Ashanti and him bringing up all this old stuff and focusing on the wrong thing. Now, let me give everybody in this video, I'm gonna give them their flowers first before I like go in, right? So I feel like he's an awesome storyteller. I feel like he's very talented when it comes to, you know, finding talent from the little bit that I read and saw. But I feel like this is a sucker move by just coming out and saying all this stuff about her. Like, you have so much talent. Like, it's a difference between saying, like, you know, I was in love with her at the time and I made, you know, rash decisions, but, you know, I've grown from that. I wish her nothing but the best. That's the conversation you need to be having. Like, I don't have a problem with him actually telling his story, but it's the problem when I see that people haven't grown from that situation. You still basking in it. I still feel like he's bashing her and he's making it more so like she was in love with me, but she'll never say she was in love. She was like 19, 20, and you were a 30-year-old and you were married. So what it look like her coming up to, you know, her family and friends, hey everybody, look at this partial relationship I'm in with this married man. Like, that sound whack. It sound like a grooming process. You know, Ashanti did so much wrong, but you were married. You know what I'm saying? You took vows before God to another woman, and then you tell her, like, why you were married, this woman should praise you. Like, go to hell, sir. Okay. Beyonce and Kelis, right? So, when I was on a date, this was right before the pandemic hit, and that's why it's kind of near and dear to me, because I got this book, Creative Quest, by Questlove, and I don't remember verbatim what's all in here, but I do remember him talking about muses and then artists who draw inspiration from other artists and sometimes imitate older artists, and they come up and create their own thing. So that's kind of how I think of Kelis and Beyonce. They're both creatives that are needed to keep, you know, the culture pushing, you know, forward. So he talks about D'Angelo, you know, he's the R&B bad boy, neo soul R&B artist, and I just love it. And he always talks about how, you know, he doesn't feel like D'Angelo gets like all the credit for being a talented artist and musician, but he still creates blueprints that artists use today. And I feel that way about Kelis. Like when Kelis came out, she was, you know, screaming on the track, big natural hair, wearing different colors. She got songs with like ODB and Enrique Iglesias. Like she, you know, give this woman her flowers because she's just amazing. I think it's 5 artists that I just look at as like when they came out, they was doing their own thing. I think it was Kelis, Jill Scott, India Ari, Kareem Bailey Ray, and who's the last one? Fifi Dobson. So I just feel like when they came out, they were in their own lane. They wasn't trying to be like anybody else. And those are the artists that I gravitate towards. And kind of in Solange in her own way too. I feel like artists like Beyonce, you know, when she comes out, she creates moments, songs for the time period. Like in 2016, like her whole Lemonade album, that's just like you can remember where you was at, what you was doing. So she draws inspiration and she constantly is creating things. So these two types of artists, you need the muse and then you need the artist that draws inspiration and kind of, you know, keeps use their platform to like keep different types of music and genres, you know, flowing. We need both of them. But what I will not allow is people bashing Kelis because she came out and, you know, stated her feelings. We all know, like, we're privy to the information that, you know, now you got to look at contracts, you know, owning your masters and stuff like that. But back, you know, 20 years ago, people and before weren't even thinking about this or making, you know, deals on a handshake. Like they wasn't really even signing contracts that'll actually give them, you know, money on the back end or years to come. It was just like, here's your advance, make the song, and then when it starts getting popular, the companies are starting to get all the revenue. And it's just weird, like, that people want to like bash her for like talking about reworking her deal and things like that instead of, you know, seeing where she's coming from. And when she said, you know, sisterhood, it was like, I did feel like Beyonce stonewalled her a little bit. And it could have been a conversation where they both like, you know, maybe this can be something that it could be a lesson to women that even if we have differences, we could still have this conversation. Let's talk about it. You know what I mean? Because Kelis did, you know, just lose her husband. But I also feel like it's bigger than, you know, just having sympathy for somebody. Yeah, I put you on a song, but I did it out of love and respect and admiration for you. And it might seem, it's not, you know, ass kissing. It's like, it's really just giving people their flowers and showing them that I'm trying to make it right versus stir up, you know, some more controversy. I don't know. I just feel like it's a conversation that could have went better. And a lot of people are like, Beyonce ain't have to. She ain't have to do this. And she didn't. But it's, there's this lady. Her name is Shirley. And she has like this, it's Beauty to the Streets, I think is her handle on IG. And she goes to Skid Row and like, you know, places where they have like a whole lot of homeless people, and she comes and brings food, clothes, people to do their hair. And one time there was this lady who had a problem with her and was like, you know, tried to cuss her out and all types of stuff, and it ended horribly. So they sent the lady away. A couple days later, the lady comes back and is like, you know, I just want you to know I'm sorry and it'll never happen again. And she was like, okay, queen, you gonna go get back in line? And she was like, yeah, I'm gonna go get in line and get some food. And Shirley's staff is looking at her like, why would you let this lady come back? Like she was aggressive towards you. She was cussing you out. And she was like, no, because I realize what she's going through. And people that should, like, you should reach out to people and try to make things right versus it just being bad blood, you know. So I try to take that with me and like give people second chances and try to just, you know, feel them out. But at the same time, you do have to have boundaries. But I feel like in Beyonce and Kelis' situation, it was something that could have been resolved and it could have been, you know, out there for the world to see versus just like taking her off the song and just being like, I'm done with it. You know what I mean? She is giving, girl. Yeah, I got my heat damage, but it's full, it's thick. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all saw this clip. I think it went viral on Twitter, but it was also on TikTok, which is where I got it. I'm going to play it for you right now.
I am, and I come in here to live. First of all, I don't come in here to look at your man. Let's just start there. So if you want to press me about being insecure about who's looking at your man,
it's not insecurity. Look.
And there I'm going to do just that.
Okay, babe, I'll call
So,
you back. Okay, no, I just want you to look at it from my, because I hear you, and I apologize because it sounds like you don't even know what I'm talking about.
I really don't.
So I came in with my man that day, right? We were walking to the elevator. Look, I gave you a smile. Look, you saw both of us. You saw both of us. You said what?
Did I smile back?
Yeah, you were looking at me. You were like, Yeah, okay. So after that, then I came down here to finish out my workout, and then we were done, and he brought that up, and I was like, oh, did she have braids? Because I saw you walk past, and you were like, you slowed down, like right at the corner there, and you like wiped your butt like that. And I understand your hands get worked out this way, but I was like, why would she slow down right there? Like, I'm standing right there. She's seen us both walk in together. So I'm just trying to paint the picture for
Y'all saw all the audacity that girl had. Now, the lady that's on the floor, like just talking to her calmly, let me tell you, you got all the patience in the world. And I respect you for not, you know, slapping her or beating her up or doing whatever you could have done for coming to you as a woman, Barbara and Shirley style. But that was weird to me. But I know what that feels like, because she doesn't know that her man is manipulating the situation and making her feel insecure. See, what happens in those type of situations is called triangulation. So the guy is telling you, oh, the girl was smiling at me and doing this stuff like this. So it's sending the little pick me off, and she's real insecure. Like, you were talking to and smiling at my man, and it really wasn't even that serious. But he bigged it up and made her feel like, you know, this woman is at me right now, so you need to do something about it, babe. You need to do something. I will never forget that feeling. And I want to tell any woman that's going through something like that, please leave. And you saw her, she was on the phone, she was like, oh, bye, babe. Okay. Like she's handling something. Like, it was really delusional. And I remember the delusion. And so I'm telling you, and don't even like be like, oh, young girls. It's grown women doing that. You know what I mean? Hopefully nobody punched the mess out of her. I went through my pick me stage. Like, that's why I made the whole video, for the delusion like that. Like, don't let it fester and you become the girl that's like, oh, you were smiling at my man. Like, did y'all see the dude? Y'all see what he looked like? I mean, it don't even matter because he's a manipulator. You know, he was an a-hole. But like, why would you want your girl to be insecure like that? And people always, I don't want to only put it on her, but honestly, create safe spaces so your spouse can feel, you know, that's some delusion. It's delusion, but also create a safe space where your spouse don't have to question that. Because you saw how she was like, oh, you were looking at my man. Like, honestly, when you go out to the gym, you don't be looking at other people, or you don't be like really, you know what I'm saying? When you out and about with somebody that you in love with, you not gonna be like, oh, are you looking at my man? Like, it ain't even gonna be an op because you too busy knowing that you look good. And that girl, her natural hair was popping. Like, you saw how much hair she had? Like it, and that's crazy, because when you will pick me, you be in the prime of your life. You be in one of the primes, because I feel like women, we have like 3 or 4 primes of a life. But I felt like she was at a time where she didn't need to be insecure. And shout out to you know, the woman who, you know, kindly talked to her like, what are you talking about? Like, you need to stop being insecure. Like, she was talking to you cool, because anybody would have came out of the bag and y'all was in the gym, she could have like smacked you upside the head with the weight. Like, I'm just being real. So ladies, please don't be delusional like that. You know what I'm saying? Get help. It's happiness on the other side. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's men out there that won't make you feel insecure like that. And start playing little mind games, you know what I mean? I was having this conversation with somebody like a couple months ago, and even though I felt like the conversation was like deep fried and misogyny, I think it's some points to take away from it. And also, just like the video you just saw, a lot of women don't like each other. Like, they don't. And I saw Brent Fires, I think that's his name. He was on the Gilly show, and he was like, when he brings his girl around, he sees how she gravitates to other women because that tells him something. Shut up. Okay? That does not work. That doesn't work all the time, because a lot of women, it could be different reasons why a woman may not like you. And I still be trying to figure that out, because sometimes when you know you come somewhere with good energy, you being nice to everybody, you ain't doing too much, it'll still be some girls that just don't like you for no reason. I've had horrible situations that I'm not gonna get into, you know, that's between me and my therapist, but you know, it really leaves a damper on like you wanting to like extend, you know, friendships when you get older, because you're just afraid of, it's like pulling out, you know, a mystery, something out of a bag, like you don't know. But I will say it's healthy to still continue to be, you know, yourself, or find positive outlets to make friends. But I feel like the ideal that women are, you know, just gonna always get along is not true, and some women will not gravitate towards you. So sorry, Mr. Fires, your whole little test will not always come out, accurate. It'll be like, you know, some people will gravitate towards you, some people won't, but that doesn't mean anything is wrong with you. And I think that's my thing, is like, stop creating these little tests for people and just get to know them as is. Like, I don't like when people like, oh, I was just testing you. Test your mama. Okay, just be cool, like, and get to know people for them. Keep it fresh, keep the energy good. Like, I'm trying to grow out of that, like, all people bad people, that's a bad person. Like, just allow people to, you know, heal and still like keep the faith that you can like create healthy relationships. And thank you all for watching. That's all I have for you today. But you know, I love y'all. Until next time, you know, eat your vegetables, leave that dairy alone if you can. You know, if you having problems, you know, do you. But if you having problems, you know, try to go, you know, dairy free, get the almond milk and whatnot. But I love y'all, and we in.